All right, guys, so you know how we've been hearing bits and pieces about Taylor Swift and this whole It Ends With Us movie drama? Well, it just blew up, and Taylor is officially caught in the crosshairs, but not for the reasons you might think. This whole mess isn't really about Taylor being the puppet master. It's looking a lot more like Blake Lively dragged her into it. Here's the deal. Taylor Swift was subpoenaed, and then her reps got caught in a lie. They initially claimed Taylor had absolutely no involvement in the movie, never stepped on set, didn't help with casting, no creative input, nothing. Her only connection, they said, was licensing one song, My Tears Ricochet. Sounds pretty straightforward, right? A simple, clean denial from Taylor's camp. But here's where it gets messy. Multiple reliable sources from the production have completely contradicted that statement. Insiders are saying Taylor's denial was a strategic move pushed by legal concerns, and she wasn't exactly thrilled about it. Apparently, Blake Lively urged Taylor to distance herself publicly to avoid liability as legal pressure mounted. Taylor complied, not because the claims were untrue, but because admitting her involvement would have opened up a whole can of legal worms. So, while Taylor's team was out there playing the she wasn't even there card, sources are saying Blake practically pulled her into this mess just to flaunt their friendship. And now, Blake's left with zero credibility, an ex-bestie who's been subpoenaed, and a spotlight that's burning a little too bright. The plot thickens with Justin Baldoni, the director and co-star. He confirmed in an interview that Taylor was indeed shown Isabella's audition tape, and both Blake and Taylor approved her for the role. Then, Isabella herself, the actress, later said in an interview that Taylor had supported her throughout the process, describing her as consistently present and emotionally involved from the start. Even Blake Lively herself described Taylor as someone who lived this with me, implying not just emotional involvement, but creative and logistical input too. Yet, Taylor's public statement claimed she never saw any final edits, never gave feedback, and never shaped any creative decisions. This directly clashes with what Justin and Isabella, and even Blake, have said. It just doesn't add up. It really seems like Blake was overextending how much Taylor did for her, but now Blake's putting it on the record that Taylor was involved the whole time. So, if you're mad at anyone, be mad at Blake. The real kicker? Emails, call logs, and behind-the-scenes communications that haven't been made public yet hint at digital evidence proving Taylor's early and consistent involvement. If that evidence exists, it wouldn't just challenge Taylor's official statement. It would confirm that her denial was purely a legal strategy driven by Blake. Taylor's caught in a tough spot. She can't acknowledge the truth without damaging her own reputation or publicly turning on Blake. But by continuing to deny what so many people have confirmed, she risks looking dishonest and complicit. This whole situation has put her in a deeply compromised position. Blake Lively's use of Taylor Swift's name for It Ends With Us wasn't accidental, it was strategic. Starting mid-2023, Blake subtly positioned Taylor as a creative ally. While not always naming Taylor, she'd hint in interviews about strong women supporting her, sometimes specifically naming Taylor. The subtext was clear. Taylor Swift, fresh off Eras Tour domination, was connected to this movie, lending it huge commercial weight. Swift's fan base, known for driving everything from album sales to book charts, was seen as a potential lifeline. Blake, her team, and media outlets all used Taylor's name in headlines after those supportive friends soundbites. By September 2023, internal projections showed a 30% uptick in expected ticket sales if Taylor's name remained quietly associated. This even led to promotional packages including My Tears, Ricochet, and marketing pitches to foreign distributors. However, Taylor never agreed to be the film's silent ambassador. Her only formal connection, confirmed by Republic Records, was approving that single track. She didn't authorize her name for marketing, wasn't under contract for promotion, and wasn't listed in production company filings. She's understandably aggravated to be thrust into this legal fight, which she maintains she had no part in. Taylor knew Blake was exploiting her name, but the subpoena took it to a new level. It's a tragic, likely unrecoverable end to a friendship. By the time the subpoena hit in April 2024, Taylor's team had had enough. Taylor's reps called the suggestion of her involvement a complete mischaracterization, but the damage was done. Screenshots from October 2023 show fans buying tickets explicitly because they believed Taylor helped cast Isabella. That rumor was never corrected until legal filings forced it into the spotlight. Taylor reportedly felt deeply betrayed, confiding in friends that Blake used her name and fandom for attention, then threw her under the bus. This wasn't just hearsay, a sudden shift in loyalty backed it. In late April 2024, Travis Kelce unfollowed Ryan Reynolds on Instagram. Fans noticed, and news outlets confirmed the move, highlighting tension between the couples. While Taylor made no public statement, Swifties saw the gesture as a direct response to Blake's behavior. In Swift's world, social cues are statements, and this one was crystal clear. Taylor felt truly exploited by her longtime friend. Then came the quote that broke it all open. On May 12, 2024, the Daily Mail ran a headline claiming Blake called Taylor a dragon who helped seal the deal. The quote, reportedly from a 2022 internal production meeting memo, cited Blake saying, "We have dragons behind us. Taylor's one of them." This quote was allegedly used during a pitch to finalize approval for a critical third-party funding round. Taylor's name was being invoked to close deals. This memo, confirmed by two unnamed production staffers, was never meant to be public, but once leaked as part of a discovery request, it could no longer be denied. For Taylor, this was a red line. She allowed Blake to speak vaguely about their friendship and overlooked soft ties to the film, but being positioned as a business asset without consent was another level. Being referred to as a dragon might sound flattering, but in this context, it implied Taylor's power was being weaponized, not for art or support, but for leverage. Taylor, after months of silence, began sharing her side through trusted outlets. Variety reported she no longer considers Blake a trusted friend, a sentiment echoed by Entertainment Tonight, whose source confirmed Taylor felt blindsided and used, stating Blake had gone too far. Legal experts now suggest Taylor's involvement, even if limited, could be formally examined under oath, meaning her role in casting, promotions, or meetings is no longer speculation but part of the case. Blake, meanwhile, hasn't publicly addressed the dragon quote. However, on May 10th, she was photographed walking alone in Tribeca, New York, holding a coffee and smiling. Fans immediately labeled it a sympathy walk, given Blake's earlier legal claims of being too traumatized to leave her house. Yet, here she was, smiling publicly at a known paparazzi hotspot. Paparazzi trackers on X noted these images weren't random. They were taken outside a location Blake's team had used for past publicity stunts. The absence of security, despite her usual protocol, and her lingering for multiple angles, raised immediate red flags. It's uncommon to appear so unbothered and smiling after a public fallout with a best friend, especially when social media comments are disabled. This fueled public skepticism. On May 2nd, YouTuber Shashflow critically analyzed Blake's appearance in her video. The sympathetic Blake agenda is getting out of hand. Shash pointed out the contradiction. Blake claimed she couldn't leave the house, yet was seen smiling with a coffee and a paparazzi-ready handbag. This, Shash argued, wasn't trauma but a setup. The video quickly gained over 500,000 views. The Louis Vuitton Petite Malle bag Blake carried became symbolic. Shashflow and many Reddit users mocked the contrast between a trauma narrative and luxury branding. One comment, with over 2,000 upvotes, read, "She's trying to give relatable mom vibes while holding a purse that costs more than a mortgage payment." The criticism highlighted the perceived inauthenticity of Blake's curated vulnerability. This wasn't Blake's first image pivot. She'd executed similar candid walks during her 2018 press tour for A Simple Favor. Media strategist Karen Ormsby noted this pattern of staged relatability during reputational stress, explaining how celebrities use such walks to shift public perception, especially amid legal disputes. Despite her attempt to appear as a wronged woman retreating from the spotlight, Blake's media activity increased. She posted twice on Instagram that same week, once for Betty Buzz and once for a charity message. Both posts had comments turned off, a move Shashflow criticized, stating, "When the comment section is turned off, it's not because you're protecting your peace. It's because you know what's coming." The paparazzi walk's optics worsened when paired with her increasing social isolation. On April 28th, Gigi Hadid's 30th birthday party at Zero Bond in New York saw Taylor Swift arrive with mutual friends, but Blake Lively was conspicuously absent. While People magazine vaguely mentioned a selective guest list, TMZ, citing sources close to Gigi, reported Blake's name wasn't even considered. This was notable given Gigi and Blake's frequent appearances together as recently as 2022. Even Blake's longtime media support system appears to be retracting. On April 26th, Late Night with Seth Meyers released a correction segment where Seth joked about the backlash to his earlier interview with Blake, quipping, "I guess I didn't read the room, or maybe I didn't read the subpoena." The audience laughed, but the message was clear. He was aware of the backlash and potentially regretted booking her. Media analysts, including veteran PR consultant Emily Risnick, speculate Blake's Seth Meyers appearance wasn't merely scheduled, but influenced by behind-the-scenes pressure. Risnick suggested Ryan Reynolds' connection to Mint Mobile, a regular Seth Meyers sponsor, created a conflict of interest that likely secured Blake's slot. These events reveal a clear pattern. Public skepticism of Blake's image shifts is growing. What once worked, subtle paparazzi walks, curated vulnerability, selective social media now feels transparent. The strategy of appearing wounded while quietly manipulating the narrative is being exposed, and even Hollywood circles that once protected her are stepping back. Blake's narrative is unraveling fast, and this time, the cameras aren't the only ones watching.